Good morning, Southern Illinois. You are listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. This is Jonny, sort of on my own this week, recording this show the week before it goes out because I'm out of town for this week. It is my pleasure today to get to interview and talk with local community member Ben. We get to talk about queer and neuroqueer and queer spirituality, and in the back half of the show, we get to hear a little bit of Ben's art that he is willing to share with us. Also in the back half of the show, I offer a brief review and recommendation for TJ Klune's We Burned So Bright, his novel that came out this summer. It is a very thick show, and I think we should dive right in. Well, it is my pleasure today to get to kick off the month after Pride Month. Well, actually, I guess technically we did that last week, but this is the one while I'm away and we're recording it sometime before we actually get to talk. It is my pleasure actually today to get to talk with Carbondale local and native Ben. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing all right.
That's great. It's good to have you here. Yes. I have so many different ways that I want to connect and talk with you because so many things came up, but I do want to sort of let folks know how this got started. Sure. Because about 2 weeks ago, is it now? Mm-hmm. Something like that. We were at the Pit, that famous LGBTQ landmark of Southern Illinois. That's not as open as it used to be, but Golden Rainbows of Illinois South, still about every third Sunday of the month, invites people involved with grist and otherwise to come on out, and it's great. I love to go there for the swimming, but I also love it because I get to meet new people, and you're one of the new people I met.
Yeah.
Was that your first time at the Pit?
It was, yeah.
Wow. Now, I'm just curious, how did you find out about the Pit?
A friend, well, how did I find out about it? I guess found out about it would have been 2010.
Oh, wow. So you've known about it for a while.
Yeah. I was invited there by a friend that I knew after I moved back from Peru. And that was the first time I heard about it, and I chose not to go. And I would encounter other invitations in varied ways over the years, and I don't know why I was led away from it. But now I do, because I stumbled there with a friend on the most perfect day of the most perfect cycle, and that was exactly how I was supposed to go there.
Good. It was a good day. We felt like we were going to not be able to do anything because there was tornado warnings and storms in the area and whatnot. And I just took a chance. I looked at the radar, drove out there.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it'll clear up by the time I get there. We'll be able to swim.
Yeah. And we were. Yeah, for a long time.
And to chat and to have conversations and all of that. And it was just really, it was a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what more to say about it than that. Do you remember you telling me that you're a Pisces?
I am, yeah. I was Pisces sun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pisces sun here too as well. And so, if it's
because
water,
I talked to you, I asked. Yeah. You were like a fish in the water.
If it's water, I'm there. I'll let you know, totally. I would go out for other reasons, but the Pit has much more broader history in relationship to things that happen there. But I am definitely top of the list.
Yeah.
The swimming hole. And it is an amazing, old quarry swimming hole. Totally welcome. Totally awesome. Totally enjoyed it. So we got a chance to chat just a little bit, and I learned that you grew up here. Mm-hmm. And you born in Carbondale?
Yeah.
Yeah. Total Carbondalean?
Total Carbondalean.
Went to Carbondale High School?
I did. I actually am the 1 year that was in both middle schools and both high schools.
Wow. Okay, so you've been here for a while. You got some history. And then you also went to SIU?
I didn't get my degree there, but I went there 2 different times shortly.
Nice. Where'd you get your degree?
UIC up in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. And when did you go to Peru?
Right after high school.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
You have been all over the world.
Not really.
Well,
a bit north and south continentally, but not very laterally, diversely traveled.
Does that sound like something you want to do? Go all over the world?
No.
No. I like it. It's not on the plan right now, but who knows what's coming in the future.
Yeah.
You did end up in Chicago for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about a little over 10 years.
Yeah, wow. And were you in the Boys Town area?
At one time, I was at the tip of Boys Town and Wrigley and Buena for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the whole queer scene in Chicago, you were part of and well aware of.
I mean, no, not super much. I never was a go out person.
Really?
Yeah.
All those opportunities and you said no.
I mean, if I'm going to an adult queer space, I want it to be a sex space as well. So I love Jackhammer. I love all of the. I love all the places that the queer adults go, and we're not like worried about propriety.
Right.
So less of the discos, more of the dark room.
Got it. Got it. Chicago provides that.
It truly.
Not the only town, but it definitely provides.
I mean, I do love a disco every once in a while.
Yeah, sure. Good time, knowledgeable, and yet you chose to come back to Southern Illinois, and that's the part that I was trying to get to here, because I am always fascinated by that. I lived for a short while right outside of New York City, had access to New York, all of the fun stuff in New York City, including the dark side as well as the disco, and was eager to get away. I actually was very happy when I got the opportunity to come here to Southern Illinois. So I'm curious about what brought you back to your hometown, back to the Southern Illinois part rather than Northern Illinois, Chicago part.
Yeah. Well, besides all of the like cosmic signs that were shaking my life while I was trying to do something different than what I was supposed to be doing, there was a day during the lockdown, and I was in this perfect apartment in Chicago, and I like needed. I had just like gotten into that place. I think I'd only been there like a month or two, but I just needed to spend a moment alone in nature. And I spent the entire day trying to have that, and I failed. And I sat down on like a concrete curbside and cried. It's okay. I'm blue. I cry a lot. It's good to get it out. You know, hey, if they can tell which emotion in the tears chemically caused the tears, that means that I think we're flushing stuff out. We got to get it out. Said two Pisces, you know?
Absolutely. Fluid matters. Yeah, I the reason why this matters to me, right, is there is a whole narrative for part of queer rights and LGBTQ movement and all of that kind of stuff that sort of moves us to what some folks call the urban ghetto, the gay ghettos in urban centers, the tendency to, like, if you're raised in the country, to want to get out of the country as quickly as possible. And there's plenty of folks actually who stay in their rural communities and don't move to urban centers. And then there's plenty of us who went to urban centers but came back.
Yeah.
And so I think part of that just really, I'm always curious about that because there's something about it, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I love a city, I love Chicago. No dissing on Chicago, no dissing on New York, but I don't want to live there.
I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's largely a stimulation thing.
Yeah. Yes.
And especially when we're younger, that much stimulation can be really exciting. It keeps us alive. There's so much to do. There's so, you know, especially, I mean, we've talked already, we both have ADHD, so like that type of stuff can be really great. But yeah, like the body slows down, things get calmer. Suddenly everything's so loud and bright.
Yeah. And I need my trees, I need my leaves, I need my nature. And I mean, there's still nature in the city, don't get me wrong, but it's really frustrating when you need that and you can't find it.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Have you found it down here? Have you been getting out in the woods?
Oh yeah, I've had some many magical experiences out in the woods.
Some of them were up at the pit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nice. I really love this region for that, and sometimes we hit the paradox, right? Like, we're not supposed to let people know how cool Southern Illinois is. No. Illinois is just cornfields and flat, and there's no bluffs, there's no hills, there's no woods. You don't want to come here if you're listening to this from far away. We don't have any of that in Southern Illinois.
That's so funny. Yeah, I didn't know that angle. I think of Southern Illinois as an energy vortex that most people, if they pass through it, they'll either never leave or never get out of their head until they're back.
Wow. I think you might be right about that.
Oh, yeah. Ask a random person in Carbondale how they got here.
Yeah. I know when I hit here, I was just like, yes, this is it. Yes. I love it.
That's nice knowing.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's very excited. It's very cool. Carbondale and Southern Illinois to me are beautiful because of the woods, because of the nature, because of the rurality. But also then there's this cool town and there's cool community. And I always felt like the LGBTQ community down here, as broad and varied as it is, punches above its weight for representation. And so it's like, it feels good.
I like that.
And as red states have been getting, and as much as there are things like red states, but as red states have getting more regulatory against LGBTQ people, particularly T people, we've seen migration here. And I don't hate it.
Yeah.
And it includes you now for different reasons, because you're coming from Chicago because they didn't have enough grass for you to go out and touch.
That, and I knew I had to come back and do something here.
Yeah. So what you doing down here?
Right now I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of schedule. I have something else I have to go do, and what I will learn there is going to tell me what comes afterwards. So I'm waiting for the moment to do that.
You know, in our conversation so far, I am absolutely enamored of your capacity to follow your heart and follow your intuition and follow the messages that you get from the world around you about where you need to be and what you need to do. And that, you know, I think many of us may hear those and just like ignore them. You listen to them.
Can I address your colloquialism?
Sure.
Listening to your heart is interesting because my work actually mainly comes out of my solar plexus.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me more.
I used to listen to my heart.
Yeah.
He's stupid.
Oh.
And I just, he's so harmless and he gets so hurt. So he's not in charge anymore.
So you listen to your gut.
That colloquialism would be addressing the right chakra, yeah.
Closer to it, but yeah,
exactly.
Solar plexus, sure.
Exactly.
Your diaphragm.
Yeah, oh, no, that one would that's interesting. I guess diaphragm would be related to how solar plexus and throat work together.
Yeah. I find that aspect, because one of the first places we sort of started talking about was around queer spirituality, I think. Mm-hmm. I think you had asked me, or maybe somebody else there was asking me about gay spirit visions. Mm-hmm. And that is just an example of several different things around the country where I think gay men and queers in general are kind of recognizing that their identity and everything is wrapped up in spiritual awareness.
Yeah.
It's not separate. It's not,
Agreed.
My experience with that, I was late coming to it in terms of acknowledging it and hanging out with other people, but it was Trump's first run for president and some other things that were going on in my life, and I was just like, wait, the evangelicals are supporting this guy? Really? Okay, look, you guys don't get to judge me ever again. I'm going to go figure out this spiritual stuff because I left that all to you guys, and now I'm ready to go figure it out for myself, and yeah.
You know, it's interesting that now more than ever, individuals that like find me are more ready to hear about this stuff.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I think we're making that turn.
There's so much I could say right now, but so much is still in the silence.
Okay.
Why don't you ask me about that though?
Okay. How did you become aware of your interest in something that is, I mean, for lack of a better word, metaphysical or beyond the sort of realism that we seem trapped in this world?
I always was. It was actually, it had to be like pressed out of me, and then it came back later.
Wow. Okay, so here's what I want to know. We had this wonderful conversation earlier today that made me go, we should sit down and record this. And in fact, I contacted you because based on the conversation we had at the pit, I knew I wanted to chat more with you. But as I was leaving the pit, you're the one who sort of instigated making the connection. Mm-hmm. And I feel like both in the interview and in the earlier conversation and in the impulse to sort of follow up, like there was something under the surface going on, right? So I'm following my own intuition in this as well. There's part of me that's like, what was speaking to you when you said, hey, let's share contact information. I'd like to talk with you later.
Well, I would say one is general and one is specific of my answers. One is I like queer elders. Mm-hmm. Like when I meet older queer people, I want to meet you. I want to talk with you. I want to learn. Like we've survived so much death. Like death is such an old friend of ours, and age is something that not everyone gets to do, and especially queer people were scattered from our family, and meeting queer elders kind of feels like finding like lost family that I can ask about things.
Same.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think in my path I felt the same as well, that it's I have a family, but I like my found family, and I like making that connection. That's nice. Was there anything else? Was it just old dude?
Well, like I told you earlier, we had met before.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's. You were at SIU for a while, and you took the speech class, and you came and you actually competed for and got into the Student Speakers Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah. the Student Speakers Forum is actually something that this guy right here brought to SIU.
Oh, really?
When I came in 1999, they had some money from somebody, and they wanted to make something that had to do with kind of civic discourse and maybe debate and having things to talk about. And as introductory course director, they wanted it to go there and to be student supporting. And so I was like, well, I've done this thing at these other places. Hey, let's do this here. And so we started the Student Speakers Forum. And ever since then, every fall, every spring, we have this forum that's really just an opportunity for students to talk about a topic. What was your topic?
Choose civility.
Did you?
I did.
I believe you did.
Oh, sorry. No, I did not. Quite the opposite. I'm wild.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Well, I think that, well, first off, some of the things I said in that speech are very bootlicking, and I do not agree with that kid anymore.
You changed.
Well, he didn't understand at the time just really how bad the rich were.
Yeah.
And also, I guess now, I think that some people think civility is domicility.
Nice.
And I think that civility is more discerning than that.
Yeah, that's nice. I don't think you're wrong about that. I absolutely sometimes feel like civility is used to silence people.
Quite.
And I think civility also involves speaking up. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, nice. You also have, I mean, like, we toss around the word queer. What do you mean when you say queer? What's queer to you? Isn't it queer? What is queer?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's the only word of our like litany alphabet that actually grabs everybody.
I think there are lots of different definitions out there, and we don't all agree on them. And some people are like, I don't like that word, and some people are like, it's political, and it resists definition, I think.
It does. I think we're not able to say what is queer, but we know what isn't queer.
Yeah.
Anything that like threatens or hurts like true, genuine like liberty and community and being and autonomy.
I think the other one that I think is a constant challenge for us sometimes around it is sometimes it is opposed to things like assimilation, right? The idea that there is a more acceptable and less confrontational way for us to be different from the cishet normative mainstream.
Yeah.
And that's...
Sometimes I think about, like, there's a difference between humble and modest.
Nice.
There's a difference between kind and nice.
Nice. Kind. No.
Well, people used to always ask me, like, what's the difference between nice and kind? The euphemism I always use is, like kind is telling someone they have spinach in their teeth. Nice is pretending like you don't see it and letting them walk around like that.
That's nice. Yeah. I hear you.
I don't want to get too radical on the podcast today. Like if we're gonna get radical, let's get radical. Let's not touch our toes in it.
Well, I just want to acknowledge, right? First of all, that one of the things that queer would do would be to probably trouble any kind of distinction that we would have between assimilation and not assimilation, right? I don't think it would be happy with the binary of that and what is or isn't assimilation. There is this tension, right? I've encountered it before where, queer is in some ways the margin in relationship to, if we're thinking like a bell curve, the norm, the thing that dominates, the thing that most people are, and then there's these sorts of things that divert. And do we include them or do we ignore them as we kind of make rules in society and all of that kind of stuff, as we do our science and that kind of stuff? Yeah. Some people, when I've talked to them, queer activists, are very much about maintain the margins and be on the margins and don't sacrifice what makes us unique and different. And I love that. I think that's brilliant. At the same time, when you're fighting for rights and to be seen and to be acknowledged, you are asking for the breadth of what is acceptable in our culture to at least broaden enough to include those margins. And that's maybe another metaphor that's good to think about.
I think a couple things about that.
Yeah.
One of them is good dogs still get put down. And
Nice.
I'm not domesticated.
Yeah.
I'm wild. And the other is from like a sitcom. But sometimes I think in silly, humorous moments, like deep truths come out. It's from Community. Oddly enough, ironic name.
I'm not surprised.
Dan Harmon, autistic writer. But Troy and Jeff are like having this moment, and Troy's asking him about his Letterman jacket, that people are making fun of him for wearing his Letterman jacket and saying all these things about it, and he doesn't know what he should do. And like the advice that he gets is like, I mean, whether you wear it to please them or don't wear it to please them, you're still doing it to please them. So just do what you want.
Nice.
And I think that sometimes people do swing the pendulum a little hard, and I don't like doing anything for the sake of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming out of Pride Month, right? And we hear all the time about are we going to kink shame at Pride? Are we going to allow the kind of our sex positive backgrounds to be present at Pride? Or are we going to try and make it safe for all the families and all the people and make it family friendly? And I feel like that tension is itself right at the core, in some ways, of this conversation, but also at the core of queer identity. It's like, hey, folks, actually challenging these norms has been part of LGBTQ history. Yeah.
Well, I think that something that way too many people forget is we only have the rights that we have and are losing because we were radical.
Exactly.
Like the assimilation trap is what got trans people left behind in the first place.
Yeah. Yep, you were telling that history really well, and I think it's an important one.
And I think that because like I don't really go out a lot, but like my friend had invited me to the drag show, and so I was there for the day part, and then they were like, "Oh, come back for the night part. All this stuff happens," and I was like, "Oh, perfect. There is like a family friendly portion and like an adult portion. I think we need varied space." Yeah. I think that one of the worst things philosophically that monotheism gives us that we still cling to is monolithic thinking. Everybody wants everything to be for everyone all the time, and that's just not how the world works. Have you met a forest?
And that's why you wanted to come back to the forest.
Must be.
I love that. I think you're right on target right there, and that to me is the challenge of the alphabet soup, right? Mm-hmm. Because the alphabet soup is trying to name all of our diversity.
Exactly.
And we're never going to have enough letters.
It's exactly. It's a negative manifestation. You hit the thing. If you look at the thing you don't want to hit, you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Man, the negative manifestation of an alarming number of people in this community is, I don't know. I can't describe it. It's like big and it's heavy and it vibrates.
It's a weight.
Yeah.
It's a weight on everybody, on them who have it, and on the people that they would impose it on.
Yeah.
I'm there with this because I feel like, look, first of all, as a community radio show, we're all about building community and trying to be nice and trying to celebrate our diversity and try to bring that in. But I do think we have to acknowledge sometimes that even in the alphabet soup, there are tensions.
Yeah. And I think that's people. I'm a bit of a novice to practicing now what I think I understand much better as being true community, and also I would say that there's a lot here that is not community.
Yeah. The pretense. They keep it nice.
I think that very often people who are misled on how to create space, they will damage control any sort of friction or differences of existing, and that usually leads them to to controlling and submissifying the like mature, kind, reasonable, self-reflective people, and then they run around and everyone's making space for all the idiots and the assholes, and it's like, why are we doing this? If we all just like actually stood firm and existed, like, we can create a different space that way.
Yeah. I think an acceptance of difference. I think sometimes, I think the one that sort of throws me on that sometimes is power, right? Because like some folks in that mix have dealt with more disempowerment in the culture that we're a part of.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the issues I take with this type of person is they don't realize they're actually disempowering everyone around them, so that because they feel like they're the only safe person, and they want everyone infantilized, non-consensually, and dependent on them.
Yeah.
The toxic mother is a thing, and people don't want to accept that.
Oh no, we can't. Well, right. Because look, at a certain level, when you start talking about toxic motherhood, and if you name it, and if we keep it as abstract,
and toxic like motherhood in its divinity too.
Yeah. It can feel like it's misogyny, right? Like we're ignoring the fact that women in our culture are typically not the more empowered in relationship to a patriarchal culture. But I think.
But once you get into microculture and your small group things, identity falls away in some ways.
Yeah. And I would argue that the toxic motherhood is not part of matriarchy. It's part of patriarchy. It is. Like we forget that like women also have a role to play, some women, in maintaining the patriarchal power. And it's it can lead to a kind of toxicity that is not just toxic masculinity.
And sometimes it's not even like malintended or even like sometimes all it has to be is acting out of fear while holding power.
Yeah.
And that is something that is free from identity. I can't stop giving power away.
Stop it. Hold on to it. You got to hold on to it.
I have too much of it.
Yeah. I feel like we're in this political moment right now where you're speaking to this in a really interesting way. I can't help but make this connection that I think some folks are really cautious. Like, we got to be careful. We can't alienate people. We got to make sure they'll vote for us, right? And at the same time, when they do that, they give so much away. And now we're starting to see, maybe, I dare to hope, I don't want too much into the primary results that are coming out, but we're actually seeing, there could be folks who actually are far on the left that could win elections and speak to us about possibilities. I know we're getting into the politics here, and you don't necessarily want to play into the wings, but I do feel like we have this place where maybe we're starting to say, let's actually help the community and recognize diversity and difference rather than avoid talking about certain things or only talk about them in certain ways so that more people will vote for us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot about the on the ground practice of politicking beyond, news and my ballot box. So I can't really speak to that. But I do know that I'm one experience, but the only people that have ever shit-talked voting outside of the two-party system to me are savior complex liberals. And I think that we need to start seeing that an enabler is an abuser.
Dude, you're dropping the wisdom. Thank you for that.
Well, be careful. I'm a page of cups. And so I always say I may sound wise, but it's ill-advised to blindly trust a fish.
Poetry, right?
Not everyone can go where you're going, and not everybody has gills, so grab a salt packet.
Who put these Pisces together to have a conversation? I love this. I feel like you are speaking to diversity in ways that are refreshing to me. I don't think you're alone in this, by the way. I think there are other folks who speak this way similarly, maybe not exactly the same. And I really value it. And I don't think that we give enough space to it. And so first of all, thank you for coming and being on the show so that we could talk about it here.
You are listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX FM 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. We're going to take a quick minute to listen to one of our station's underwriters, and we'll be right back to our interview with Ben after this message.
Support for community radio on WDBX comes from the Carbondale Times newspaper, serving the community with news, sports, entertainment, and all things Carbondale since 1997. Pick up a copy of the Times each Friday for civic news, information on who's playing the Strip this weekend, an extensive list of upcoming community events, and all the latest on Carbondale Terrier and Saluki athletics. Best of all, it's free. And to keep up with the Times anytime, visit us online at carbondaletimes.com or look us up on Facebook. Want even more information? Give us a call at 549-2799. Thanks for reading, and remember, together, we are Carbondale.
We've been skirting around something, and I kind of want to go pick back up on it.
Okay.
And that's our neurodivergence, right? Okay. So we both identify as ADHD. I was diagnosed early in my life as dyslexic. I have a partner who recently was diagnosed as autistic. You say that you also recently, within the last year or two, were diagnosed as autistic.
Yeah.
I think I am coming to understand in the latter portion of my life, because just because you're older doesn't mean you aren't still learning. I feel like I'm starting to learn this connection between neurodivergence and queer. Mm-hmm. That is a powerful connection. I know neuroqueer is a term that the theorists like to use, and it exists as a phenomenon. But it seems to me that this turn to neurodivergence has us acknowledging that there are different ways of orienting to the world. And autism is not, it's not a mental illness. I think in many ways, and it's a spectrum, right? So I want to be careful about speaking to every form of it. But I feel like it is a perspective.
Well, I'll say I'm not thinking anyway it's a mental illness.
Yeah, good.
You got me excited.
Yeah, I don't think it's a mental illness. I mean, I think there might be some people who are autistic who would be like, I wish I wasn't.
But that doesn't mean it's not a mental illness. It's a disability, not a mental illness.
Sure,
it is disabled by the society.
Yes, thank you. Ooh. Very good term.
Dr. Devin Price.
Thank you. Yes, that term, exactly. And so but it is a perspective, because I think that most of the people that I know, at least high-functioning, high-verbal autistics, offer a perspective on the world that I'm like, I think we would all benefit if we would not just listen to you, but try to adopt some of that perspective.
Yeah.
It's a reflexivity on how we communicate. It's a willingness to name these societal conventions that we run by, but we don't often acknowledge that we're running by them. It's a sensitivity to the ways that a lot of different factors interacting with people can have impacts on us, overwhelming us, or exciting us, or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like I would rather us be able to name those and talk about them than ignore them and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe you had that reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of goes back to civility as domicility.
Yeah. Nice callback. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
Was it a transformation for you, the diagnosis? The sort of did it change how you understand yourself, or how you understand the world?
Definitely. Yeah. How I actually came to the diagnosis is interesting. Well, first, it's a little humorous, is that we say that there's 3 ways to be diagnosed. There's like clinical diagnosis, self-diagnosis, and peer-reviewed, which means all your friends are autistic and they tell you that you are. Which is kind of what happened to me. It's like over the course of a couple of years, a lot of my really close friends started coming out with diagnoses and talking to me about it, and it's funny because they weren't just friends. They were one of the things they all shared in common was we met, and from the second we met, we were like, "This is good. We should hang out. I like the way you think." Yeah, that seems like it's a relatable experience to you.
Yeah.
Well, and a friend/acquaintance of mine had written Unmasking Autism, and I knew it exists, and I had read their other book, Laziness Does Not Exist, and I actually had an altercation with someone that I thought was a friend, and it's a really weird experience for me because we were driving home from this place, and to be fair, I've been having a couple drinks, so it's probably being obnoxious. But before I knew it, they were like yelling at me through the rearview mirror. And I stay through this conversation. We're there with a third person, and we go back to their house, and we continue talking. And eventually, I raise my voice back, and it's so interesting because in this person's versions of the events, I just in a vacuum yelled at him in his kitchen, and I'm attacked him with my words. But he had accused me through all of that of being ableist because he was autistic. And so I knew Devin and I knew the book, and I was like, if I don't know what I don't know, I want to be a better community member. So I ordered the book and I started reading it, and I was like, oh shit. But then I also felt weird about it because I didn't want to be you know what I mean? Some people do that. People project and people make stuff up and they turn things around like that. And I was just like, oh. Also at the time, I had a good rec on an eval, but it was $4,000 and they wouldn't take my insurance. And then a little over a year ago, my insurance changed through my work, and I got my full psych eval, for the price for the whatever insurance payment of 2 office visits. It was one of the greatest gifts, how they were able to do that. Yeah. And I will say that I was nervous getting my results back. And I'm not going to say anything that I think will further stigmatize something that's already too stigmatized. But there were because it was a full, even though we were looking, it was the reason I was there was autism. He was testing for everything, it was a full psych eval. And I was concerned about getting back a diagnosis that would ask me to question myself and my reality. Where I am in my healing and in my life's work and everything that I'm doing here this time. I didn't want to be asked to not trust myself, to gaslight myself about stuff. And so when the autism diagnosis came back, it was very liberating. I was like, it's not, I am true. I know who I am. I can trust myself. And that was, I think, the greatest gift of all of it, even though so much would come after that.
That's it does. So you're queer and you're autistic. You had both of these experiences, right? A lot of times I think when folks finally understand their autism, part of what they recognize is that they've been masking and they say no. Is that at all like coming out of the closet? Is it related? Is it different?
I never really came out of the closet. I was always out of the closet.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like...
Must have had a fun time in that crib.
Yeah. No, there was never really any closet for me.
Yeah.
There might have been some like denying verbally at some stages, but that was more of a just like what can I say? You leave me the alone.
Yeah.
But the unmasking was different. I guess it was just funny for a Dionysian person who spent their life in the theater that I took off the mask and threw it away as if it was only a cage and not a tool with value. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, I never have to mask again. And that's kind of the like autism social equivalent of like throwing away your walker. Like it's a disability. Don't disable yourself is already enough.
All right. Those are really powerful metaphors. I really like them. They really help. Yeah, I tell on the show here lots of times that as a kid, I was bullied a lot by folks taking the R out of my last name, and I didn't know what it meant. You know, Johnny Gay. You know, like what? I'm happy. Like, it's in a Christmas song. Why are you calling me that? I don't get it. When I did get it, I was really like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. As a teenager, when I started to become sort of aware of my own sexuality, I was really mad that the bullies might have been right. So I spent a few years, a teenager. By 18, I was like, yeah, enough of that. But years masking in a way, being in the closet because I was like, I didn't want them to be right. And it wasn't until I had my first experience that I was like,
they were correct.
They can be right. It's okay. I would rather have this. This is good. This is who I am. I like it. We're taking off this. We're fabulous now. Take that R out as much as you want. I don't care.
Yeah. It's a good stage name. You should do like boy burlesque.
Yeah. I can never really tell sometimes, right, if it's a homophobe who's teasing me, like, Johnny Gay, or if it's somebody who thinks that should just be my name, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Sometimes it's really disempowering of the bully if you imagine that they're being supportive. And try to.
I love that. Yeah. I one of my drag characters has that. Everything goes over their head. So like, if you try to be mean to them, they just can't see it.
Yeah. Brilliant. It is totally a strategy.
Yeah.
So we've talked about queerness. We talked about a kind of metaphysical awareness of the world. We talked about autism. Are they related in your life? Do you think they feed? How do they feed each other for you?
Well, I think in some ways, even now that you're asking me that, I realize that they all kind of exist like interdependently with each other, but ancient and sacred. I think one of the experiences of my autism and my queerness that does rhyme is once I started to understand, then you look back through history and you start to see us all throughout it. And that happened that's very similar for the two of those. And what's funny then is they start to overlap. Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, like Imhotep.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's here's the part that gets me those names, and you could probably add more. And if you're playing the dyslexia game, there's all kinds of inventors and great people that you can throw in there. Einstein is sometimes thrown in there, but I'm trying to get Edison. Edison is often sort of seen as dyslexic. He's a bit of a bad example. He's sort of the Elon Musk of his day, but never mind.
That makes sense. Yeah, he was a theft, right?
He kind of stole it from other people. Yeah. So there's that. That's a problem. I'm not like him, by the way. But the thing that gets me right is that is, for all that, we're different from the mainstream. That is the mainstream.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Is that people don't realize that the ones that are playing it safe aren't the ones that they're reading about.
Yeah.
Like, the queer community is the autistic community. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we talk about like the norm, and then the sort of variants, the mutations, the things that aren't going to make it. Look, evolution doesn't happen without us trying out new things, and that happens at the margins. That happens at the riparian zone. That happens at the places where dominance gives way to other possibilities.
As autistics, we're very able to say, I am.
Yeah.
And it might not even be that like everyone who's in the under the umbrella is autistic, but the thing is, the culture was created by those of us who are, because we're the ones who are stepping up and doing it.
Yeah. And reflexive about it.
What does that mean?
Able to see what you're doing and ask questions about it. Able to be aware of the gestures that you're making, and not just doing it because it's what we do.
Yeah, that is something that I do. Like, it's not always an unlonely experience to be the one who's doing the thing that allows other people the freedom to do the thing. Mm-hmm. But it does get me through sometimes.
Yeah. We're never just one thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're constantly doing what we need to do to get through the day and to get through the moment that we're in.
That's actually usually how I get through being in public when my autism doesn't want to be in public. Is it's just like someone that I don't know needs to see me living as an adult and fine.
That's beautiful. And you are living as an adult and you are fine.
Thanks.
You have referenced your theater background, your performance background, your drag background. You are a performer. I don't know if you can tell from the interview and the wonderful way that you answer these questions. If you have that kind of background, you're in our earliest encounter was at a speakers forum, so you've got those kinds of skills. Okay, so like I know that you have a background in performance, right? Including musical performance, right?
Oh yeah, well I've been in theater. I started theater when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Sooner than I did. That's okay. That's okay. You're beating me on so many different levels. So you have a song. You've written a song.
Yeah.
And is that something new to you?
Yes. I mean, I've been pretty music illiterate most of my life. And I don't know, something just recently, it kind of like unlocked for me. I think maybe I got the music autism, but nobody ever taught me music. And yeah, something happened to me in December, and then I did something, and they were kind of like big and significant, and the only way to really like hold them and like, walk every day with it without letting it go or without throwing it away was to turn it into a song.
How beautiful. You sing from a musical background. Do you play an instrument?
I do. I play the baritone ukulele badly.
I think you're trying to lower the bar here just a little bit, and I don't think it's necessary.
Well, I've never had great luck creating music with musicians, so I tend to say I'm a bard, not a musician. If you want music lingo, and no, I don't want to go into this. I don't want to start about musicians. They're going to hate me.
You're not. You're actually articulating, I think, where you're coming from, and I think that's powerful to me because I think all of us have music in our heart in some way. Right? We just don't all get to sit at a piano and know how the thing works and make music. I can't do that. But, my partner would tell you I'm constantly singing all the time, like making up songs for the cats. Can't help it. And you followed that through based on an experience that you've had and turned it into a piece of music. What's it called?
Bullheaded and Blind.
Bullheaded. Now, I know partly it's the hat. But also partly it's spending some time with you at the pit that you identify with bull.
Yeah, I'm a bull.
A bull. What does that mean?
What doesn't it mean?
Well,
I'm not being like evasive. It's just always been true. My whole life I've always been the bull.
And just to clarify, because this is an audio podcast, you are wearing horns.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wear horns all the time?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. But when you come to do a podcast with me, that's kind of cool.
I take off my horns if it serves me to draw different attention.
Cool. I love those associations. I love the commitment to it too. It feels like it's not identity. It's something more, and I don't know quite how to land on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we reach for identity to be something. And sometimes who we are rises out of us undeniably.
Huh. Bullheaded and Blind.
Yes.
I would really like to hear this song.
Let's do it. Once there was a little kid who never knew what she did to make them think that she speaks in lies. And they became a big old boy that always seemed to destroy everything he thought he wants in life. But what use is bullish strength if you won't go to the lengths to stand and face what curses your bloodline? Something happened after you met me. I found something I could not see. I'll admit it too much at the time. What even happened that night? I'm bullheaded and blind. I'm bullheaded and blind. A little less than kin, but more than kind. I'm bullheaded and blind. I listened to what others say while they acted another way, and I wondered why the two don't align. If smiles hide ill intent, then perceptions can misrepresent a vulnerability that we hide. But as I heard another one project, refusing to self-reflect, I worried that we were both alike. But something changed that night you looked through me. I saw and I'd always been who I'm trying to be. But was this your reflection or mine? I'm dying to see one more time. I'm bullheaded and blind. I'm bullheaded and blind. I know I'm not a lie, but I'm bullheaded and blind. Alone I faced a frozen void, wielding the fire I couldn't avoid, torn limb from limb by horrors divine. Set against wondrous odds, I reforged a machine of gods. Some miracles a mortal won't survive. I hadn't meant to traverse hell and back with Cassandra's curse, but I thought knowledge would be sublime. 'Cause something happened that night you looked through me. I saw and I'd always been who I'm trying to be. But was this your reflection or mine? I died just to see one more time. I'm bullheaded and blind. I'm bullheaded and blind. Some things you can't rewind. And I'm bullheaded and blind. You said one day that you'd be back, and I choose to trust in that, even though I wrote a song to whine. I wonder if you too are struggling with what to do with all that came up for us inside. As you pressed your face to my head, lowered your voice, and then said that wherever we went, that me you'd always find. That happened, and then you looked through me, and I saw that you are pure majesty. But was this your reflection or mine? Are we stumbling round at the same time? I'm bullheaded and blind. I'm bullheaded and blind. You don't owe me a reply. But everything changed when you looked through me that night. For those brief magic moments, you brought back my sight. Or was it just a trick of the light? I can't see what's between the lines. I'm bullheaded and blind. I'm bullheaded and blind. But I'm here when you want to find one bullheaded and blind.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to say it, right? I know that it's a line in the song, and I know that it's the title of the song. But my experience of you in this conversation today has been anything but you as being blind. In fact, quite the opposite.
And I think the irony of this song is that it sees so much as you in the chorus continue to say you're bullheaded and blind.
Well, thanks for witnessing and reflecting.
Yeah. I can't wait to see where you go with this. And I just want to say at some point in your near future, you get to drop the I'm not a musician. Because I think you're a songwriter. I think you have things to say. And I imagine if people hear this, they might be asking, when are you doing a concert? When can I go see it? Ben, thank you for sitting down and talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jonny.
And sharing your art and sharing your insights. And thank you for asking to share contact and being available to come and talk, because you just never know when a conversation somewhere is going to lead to something else.
And thank you for being who you are, because I'm a mirror. And so if we're having a nice time, it's because you're pretty amazing.
Well, I feel like we're mirrors back and forth, and it's just infinity right now, you know? So.
Is it your reflection or mine?
I don't know. I'm glad you're here. And I hope you'll come back in the future. Whether you got a song or not, come back and chat with us, because you got ideas and they could use some further conversation, and I would welcome the opportunity to. So,
thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. I have a few extra minutes this week, and I wanted to take that time to recommend to you a book that has really moved me this summer. I am a TJ Klune fan, and I wanted to let you know about the latest in his very big collection of fiction, We Burned So Bright. TJ Klune writes a lot of series in genre fiction, but this is a standalone book, and a short one at that. It's only about 6.5 hours, and it's a pretty thin volume, but it packs a punch. I listened to the audiobook, narrated expertly by Kurt Graves. Here's a little sample of the book from the first chapter.
Don switched off the television. He'd spent the morning in the garden, those pesky weeds returning with a vengeance. All that spring rain, he thought. And for what? His husband, Rodney, sat in a recliner a few feet away. At 78, Rodney was a gruff and quiet man, his bushy eyebrows doing most of the talking for him. 40 years together, and Don could tell what he was thinking without a word between them. "I know," Don said. "It's time." Rodney grunted in response, leaning forward in his chair, hands on his knees. His back was bothering him, though he wouldn't say as much. But Don knew. Of course he did. He knew everything about Rodney. Rodney, who looked over at Don, expression softening. "You all right?" "No, I don't think I am." Rodney nodded and stood from the recliner, groaning as he did so, knees popping. "Stay right there," he said. Don did, staring off into nothing. He didn't know how to feel. Frightened? Oh, yes. Angry? Perhaps. A little spark that whispered, "How is this fair?" But mostly, Don felt relieved. And oddly so. Not over the fact that the entire world would be gone in 30 days, give or take. No, he wasn't the type to revel in the misfortune of others. His relief came in knowing how it would end. Getting older meant he was running down the clock as it was, thoughts sometimes straying to darker corners. Would it be the colon? The heart? A little pop in a blood vessel of the brain that caused one to drop dead? The human body was a miracle that was not meant to last. He felt it in the stiffening of his joints. Stretch wrong in the morning, that was a week's worth of discomfort. Get a blood test? Ooh, what could be found in that? Now, though. Now it was different. Now, the mystery of death, when, how, why, was solved for everyone. Rodney returned. Don didn't know how long he'd been gone. He carried a small box with him. Oak, polished within an inch of its life, a brass keyhole in the front, roughly the size of a jewelry box. It wasn't large, nor was it heavy, but Rodney was careful with it. He said, "If we're going to do this, we have to do it now." Don lowered his head. "I know. You always think there's going to be more time."
I hopped on the T.J. Klune oeuvre a while ago with In the Lives of Puppets, a beautiful sort of post-humanist robot apocalypse story that riffs on Pinocchio. Now, I've read a lot of his fiction since then, listened to a lot of his fiction, but When We Burn So Bright came out earlier this year, I was expecting more queer genre fiction. He's good at that. It's sort of what he's known for. Fantasy, science fiction, superhero, werewolf drama, you name it. What I wasn't really expecting was a heart-wrenching journey that speaks to the moment in ways I could not have predicted. Apocalyptic fiction has taught us to fear the end of the world. Klune, without dampening the trauma, offers something different. A period of time at the end of the world when we are all equal, when the differences we dwell on become meaningless. And yet, there is still meaning in human connections and the stories we tell. He puts at the center of his story a pair of elder queers on a road trip, left unexplained until literally the end of everything. A revelation tied to queer history, bound up in regrets and ultimately acceptance. I recommend that you have tissues ready. Some of the encounters along the way are chilling revelations of how messed up normal is, but some are so moving in the clarity of a broader worldview and possibilities that, I kind of ended up tearfully rooting for the end of the world. I personally think that T.J. Klune deserves an award for this one. And on that note, you have been listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. This has been Jonny.
And Ben.
Think Again Please is coming up next, and we will see you again next week on the radio.